The severity and extent of the housing crisis in this country is shameful in such a wealthy, one of the wealthiest countries in the world, but it is also increasingly going to become, and is, I would argue, an economic problem when workers cannot afford to live because rents are so high and house prices are so high. That's a serious economic problem. And this is increasingly now the case, that people are going out to work, working very, very hard, but rents and house prices are so off the Richter scale, they're ending up homeless and there's no supports for them. So I want to just follow on from our earlier engagement on this issue to say, well, you're saying, well, cost rental is coming, it can address this, okay? But at the moment, it's not available. And the delivery of it is pretty small compared to the fact that huge numbers of people, working people, are finding themselves homeless or threatened with homelessness. So what I am asking you is, in the interim, until we deliver the sort of massive scale of social and affordable housing necessary to take some measures for people who are over the social housing income threshold, who are working but can't afford to live and are ending up homeless or threatened with such. One of the things you could do, for example, is, as you know, AHBs and the state is buying up new developments for social housing. It could also buy up new developments for cost rental. It could ensure that people over the thresholds, but with incomes not enough to pay the rents, out there would get some rent support in order to try and access, have some chance of accessing rental accommodation.
Thank you, Deputy
but some urgent measures need to be taken on this front.
Deputy Boyd Barrett correctly said that the housing crisis isn't just a social problem, it's an economic problem. It absolutely is. Not to the extent that we're losing a lot of investment or losing a lot of jobs at the moment, but there's certainly a high risk of that, and certainly does contribute to employers struggling to recruit. Not as much as full employment does, but it's definitely a factor. And as I said previously, we do keep the social housing income limits under review, have been increased recently, may well increase them again in line with prices. He suggested that we should buy up new developments for cost rental in the way that we do for social housing. I don't think that's a bad idea. I just think we need to be careful about that. A lot of new developments are being bought up by approved housing bodies with funding from government for social housing. And they're often estates, houses and apartments that people would have hoped to buy and own themselves. And that is causing some difficulties for us around the country. And really what we need is more supply, and significantly more supply. Of the 30,000 new homes built last year, I'm not sure how many of them were actually on the open market for sale. When you strip out own builds, social housing, apartments built by funds and others, I'd say probably only about a third of those 30,000 houses were actually available for sale for people to purchase. So if we were to step up the purchase of homes for cost rental, there could be even fewer homes for people to actually buy, and we just have to be aware of that, because I think we should prioritise home ownership. The solution, of course, is more new housing of all types, getting up from 30,000 closer to 40,000, 45,000 over the years ahead, and that's what we plan to do. And Minister Bryan will come to government early in the new year with proposals to increase those housing targets.